Okay, we are live, or at least that's what the internet is telling me,
Mhm.
which is amazing. Shelly, it is launch week, and I am
Whoa.
like, I know you got to be overwhelmed with excitement, all the things, right?
All the feels. I mean, you do so much work up to this moment, and then it's actually here, and it's kind of like a baby at a hospital. Like you're bringing the baby out. You want everybody to be sweet to the baby.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I mean, not to mention, usually there's so much personal content and help and all the things that you're trying to help people with. And then, of course, it's your baby, and you feel like, oh no, like, is it actually, going to help someone in their own life?
Yes.
Are they going to like it? Are they going to reject me? Like, all the
Yes.
feelings.
Are they going to be good to the baby? I mean, are they going to get something out of this? And I think you and I hadn't talked about this, Caleb, but I've said it to everyone else. I have this tension I'm always asking the Lord to help me hold between I cannot multiply this message and get it out to the world. It's my loaves and fishes. And then what He chooses to do with it, is on His end. But there's a tension right there in the middle that I pray for. I try to find right there in the middle.
I love that. I mean, to me, by the way, I love your Southern accent. We were just talking right before we jumped on
Yeah.
how it's Louisiana, not Louisiana. I'm from Georgia, so you're gonna draw it out of me. Like, I'm gonna go backwoods, Columbus, Georgia, where I was born. So, like,
I
uh,
like it. You're going to start drawing more the more we talk. That's just what happens to people.
yeah,
So tell me something, Caleb, because right now, unless I'm like looking over here, are we the only ones here, or how do I know if
no, there
somebody
are people
else is?
here. Yeah, so we've got other people here. I see Elizabeth commenting on Facebook, and then someone else said hello. Let me see who that was.
How do
It was
I see it?
Michelle. Michelle said
Oh,
hello as well. So we got a
hey,
couple people
Michelle.
joining on Facebook, and I'm sure people will be popping in and out or watching the replay
Yeah.
later.
Well,
So we got three
hello,
other people joining
Michelle.
us right now.
And oh, I'm sorry, I stepped on you. But I was saying hello to Michelle. And who did you tell me else was here?
Elizabeth. Yeah.
Elizabeth. Hello, Elizabeth.
We can
Nice to.
actually show Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that profile photo. It's so
Oh,
cute.
that's sweet. Yes, that's my friend Elizabeth. She's a pastor's wife, and she and has just been a great, great friend of the book. As has Michelle. Michelle has been like killing it on the posting and sharing.
That's Michelle right there. It says Facebook user, but that was Michelle. I can see it
Okay.
from the Facebook group.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're watching us live, amazing. If you're watching the replay because maybe you couldn't get off for lunchtime or whatever it
Yeah.
was, I totally understand. But it's really awesome to have Shelly here with us today in this live format, and we're really excited to just really be able to support you, like you were talking about, and helping you get the word out about this message and multiply those loaves and fishes. Or in Louisiana, it would be the crawfish
Catfish.
and some crepes or something like that.
Yeah. Catfish, right? Catfish and
Catfish, yeah.
beignets. There you go.
Well, Shelly, I love asking this question to. I know this is actually the first time you guys, Shelly and I, have met. Like you've met Mackenzie and behind the scenes, a lot of other stuff. And I love being able to connect with authors and being able to serve them in this way. But I love this. Is my favorite question to ask authors is,
Okay.
and okay, so every book doesn't matter if this is the first or you've written 100 of them. There's always something that surprises you in the writing process. It could be a life circumstance, or it could have been a lesson that you learned along the way that you weren't really expecting. So for this book specifically, I'd love to hear what was that thing for you in this process that kind of maybe you didn't see coming and surprised you a little bit.
Oh, that's a great question. I was trying to like think really quickly, like what would be the most surprising. And I have lived with John's Gospel or you don't know, but I have. It's my favorite. I love John's Gospel. And I knew that there was meat there to help us find the joy and peace of Christ Jesus in these times. I knew all that. And I knew that Jesus was present to strengthen our faith. But I think I saw that in a new way myself as I was actually writing on the Gospel of John. I kept coming into instances where Jesus was actively working to strengthen the faith of those who believe in him.
Mm.
For me, that was like, I think I knew it, but I didn't know it. And the way I kept seeing it just repeated over and over and over. And that's what I wanted to give people, for them to know, Caleb, that Jesus is not like got his clipboard out and he's like, checking it off and grading. Instead, that's kind of how we think about it sometimes.
Sure.
Like, am I doing well enough? Am I living this life the way you've called me to live it? And instead of having a clipboard, he's like right beside you, like encouraging you and strengthening your faith. And that was, I think, as powerful for me while I was writing it, that I hope it's going to be that powerful for people that read it.
I mean, you even pointed out the loaves and fishes, which I know that it's so cliche in some ways, but
Mhm.
it sounds like you were able to see through the writing process, you were able to really personalize the gospel in a way that
Yeah.
was different. Um, and your background, I mean, how long have you been in church or in like your faith?
Oh my gosh. I have been toted to church before I was born, 9 months before I was born. And thereafter I was
Yeah.
always
You were
in.
on drugs, right? You were drugged to church.
I was drugged. I was drugged. I was on drugs forever. But this is what I tell people all the time. Even though I was drugged and taken to church from, the time I was a little girl, I was always in church, and I came to faith. I made a profession of faith in Christ Jesus at a young age.
Mhm.
But here's the huge but, and it's what I live now to write and share and talk to people about. I still almost missed the sweetest relationship with Jesus. I
Mm.
almost missed what's available to us on this side of heaven.
Mm.
Caleb, I was just like not going through the motions is very, very cliche. But I mean, I was doing church, but I wasn't letting Jesus into my daily life and really understanding how to walk with him all through the day, every day, instead of like just in my quiet time or just at church. And for me, integrated, I now I'm fond of this new phrase called the integrated life of a believer. And that's just my way of reminding myself of breaking down that secular sacred. This is where we expect to see Jesus, and so we're looking, and this is not, I don't necessarily expect to see him when I drive up to the gas station or hear him speaking to me. But the integrated life of listening to him at all the time, listening for his voice and doing life with him, I think that's what I almost missed. And I don't want believers to miss the peace and the joy that's available on this side, because they're like, oh, well, that's all for later,
Mm.
and I'm
Up. Let's see. Hopefully she comes right back. Technical difficulties. As we're waiting for her to come back, I love that. The integrated, that is a really great word for it. I love that term. Actually, I don't even know if I've heard anybody else use that term before. I've been in church circles for a long time, and I love having that integrated faith. I think that's really great. We'll see where Shellie is. If you are watching us live right now, feel free to comment in the YouTube comment section or in the Facebook comment section. We'll be able to see both of them in the same place and ask a question. I'd love to have a question specifically for her about the book or for her personally, if she can answer that. And so if you are in that space, feel free to do
oh,
that.
I'm sorry.
There
I'm
she. Hey,
sorry.
listen, you're back. I mean, that was just I just did a commercial break. That was it. I just told everybody to go ahead and just ask her questions. And this is my favorite comment right here. Here you go. Ready? Ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Not today, Satan. Lord, bring her back. She's back. She's back, you guys. That answered prayer right now, like real time.
I like that.
And I was just saying for a moment there, just about the integrated. I love that word. Actually, I don't even know. I've been in church for a long time. And I don't know if I've ever heard someone say it quite like that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm not saying, Shellie, that people who are unchurched shouldn't read your content, but I do think, to me, people who maybe have been around for a while,
Yeah.
And maybe the good girls, the ones that the pastors' wives, like you were talking about earlier. Listen,
Mhm.
I'm a PK. I'm an
Yeah.
ordained minister myself, and
Yeah.
you can become professional Christians really quick, and
Yeah.
it's hard to like separate. Sometimes you create lines instead
Yeah.
of just embracing the whole thing, and um, so
And
I think this is a really great message for all those people.
oh, Caleb, and I have been, here's the thing. I am like the number one remedial learner. I'm always like, here I am, Jesus. I know I'm back with the same lesson, but I have been actively pursuing that integrated life for a while now, seeing in me the tendency to have the secular and sacred and, have my life compartmentalized years back. And yet it's a daily recognition for me. I don't ever get it done. For anybody that's listening, it's like, oh well, she's there and we can't ever get, and I don't ever get it done and get it right and get it checked off and live that way 24/7. I'm always learning to invite Jesus into every part of my life.
I love that. I absolutely love it, and I mean, what do you mind, since you've been doing it for quite some time? Is there a practical thing that you would mind sharing about? It could be a subtle shift where you were potentially drawing a line secular versus sacred, but now that you see it integrated, you might be able to laugh at it now compared to where it was back then. But like, is there anything that comes to the top of your mind for that?
I think a ton of things, but for me, one of the ones that comes to my mind might help us the most, and that is my constant reminder to myself not to walk out of prayer, but to
Mm.
walk in prayer. And what I mean by that is like I'll sit down and pray, and I'm, enjoying the Lord's presence, and I'm interceding for other people, and I'm just having this most wonderful time. And then there is the tendency then to, when you finish praying, yeah,
Hang
put
it
the
up.
phone down. Yeah, that's it. Put the phone down. And I call it walk out of prayer. You
Mm,
walk, and instead I ask the Lord all the time to help me walk in prayer. So I might finish praying and then I'll get up, and I have to say things out loud so that I can hear them.
mhm.
And I say, Lord, I'm going inside now and I'm starting what I call the extreme makeover. You don't have to do that, Caleb.
Hey,
That's
this is a
what
lot of work right here. This is a lot of work.
No, I'm thinking you just wake up cute like that. But women of a certain age have to go have an extreme makeover in the mornings. And so I will tell the Lord, I walk up from the dock where I like to sit and pray. Did you know that's me and Hank on the cover? That's me and my
I didn't.
dog,
Hold on.
Hank.
I think I can make it to where I'm gonna hide myself for a second.
Oh, don't hide yours. Don't go away, Caleb. You went away. Okay. He's
Well, I
hiding.
was gonna try to show the background.
Oh, that's okay. No problem. But that's me and Hank, my dog. And so I'll be down on the dock praying or on the back porch praying. And I need to hear myself say it. I'll get up and I need to go in and start the day. And I'll say, Lord, but I don't want to finish
Mm,
praying and put a bow on my prayer. I want to walk listening to you all day long. And I want you in all of my thoughts. And in full transparency, that is not how I used to do my Christian life. It
mm,
was as if I prayed, then I could take my thought life back. I don't know if that resonates at all, but
mhm.
it was like, I've prayed, check. Now I can think about all these other things and I can do all this. And it is just a lifelong goal of mine to break down that secular sacred mentality,
Mm.
that dualism, and walk in prayer. I,
What do
I
you?
think I'm just a real squeaky wheel about it,
I
actually.
love it. Well, first of all, I have a yellow lab. His,
Yay for
his name is
labs.
Finn. He was born on my birthday. Like,
Yeah.
I always wanted to have a male yellow lab, and my dad
Oh,
had a litter, and it was a male born on my birthday. I was like, yes, I'm getting one of those puppies."
okay. You're going to have to send me pictures now
Oh
because
yeah, I
we
definitely will.
we're full out lab people. I mean, we're out labs all the way around here.
Great dogs. He's incredible. He was hunting for a while, but I
Yeah.
don't get away as much as I used to.
Right.
Um, but yeah, so first of all, someone said Hank needs to make an appearance.
Hank,
I mean,
I could invite Hank into this, but it would not. It would be all over, right there. Yeah.
like maybe we'll save him to the last second or something and see if we can
Okay.
get a photo or something with
Yeah.
there.
I could do that later when we're almost there. Remind me, and I'll
Okay.
take the phone and we'll walk outside and let Hank.
Okay, that's a good idea. That's
Yeah.
fun. We could do that with technology.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
I am curious. And just a reminder, if you guys are watching live, feel free to drop a question or a comment
Yeah.
that you want to share with Shellie, and we'll try to answer that before we end our time together today. But I did want to ask you, Shellie, as kind of a follow up to that last comment that you were making about breaking down that barrier.
Yeah.
What do you think maybe causes that specifically? That causes us to maybe even feel too comfortable with having that barrier, or that causes us to not want to tear that barrier specifically. You know what I mean?
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. And I can tell you what that answer was for me so easily. It was this mistaken, misguided,
Mm,
deceived idea that um, I could have a fuller, better, full experience of life, do everything I wanted to do, that was something that I was driving in. And then Jesus was on the side over here, and I wanted to obey him and wanted to love him. But I didn't want to be just this crazy, weird Christian, crazy person that was all just Jesus and, and not have fun or
mm,
whatever, not experience life. And that's a deception because
mm,
Jesus is life. And when we let him off the side of our plate, C.S. Lewis talks about letting the lion out, and I love that. But when we let that off the side of our plate and we go, no, Jesus, no, I want you in my life. There is no better adventure. There is no fuller joy. There is no life that we can seize that's better than the one that's walking with him.
mm,
But I mean, I will tell anyone that will listen, I was deceived into thinking so. I wanted and I say all the time, Caleb, I didn't want to do anything wrong the way we think of like sin and
sure.
blatant sin. I just wanted to have my life. And it was
Mm,
like, does my whole life have to be about you? I mean, I love to say that transparently. I'd be ashamed of it if Jesus hadn't lifted my chin from that shame. But I say it so other people can hear it because I was like, does my whole life have to be about you? I mean, I love you. I know you, whatever. I believe all of that. But now I just want to, have this life. And we constantly are trying to curate our lives. Like
mhm,
we just curate the very best life that we can live. And as believers, when we do that and we don't let Jesus drive that. Like, Jesus, you are the best life. Now you drive this and show me, then we won't taste the best that life has for us. And it's all because we put restraints on it. We put barriers on what the Lord wants to do. I say, if you don't think Jesus is adventuresome, you have not let him into all of your life yet because he
yep.
is an adventure. He
That's
is
such a
fun.
good point. I mean, and I think too that in a relationships, when you think of relationships, I feel like so the word on all of this really is the word control, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
we want to control the outcome. We want to
Mhm.
control uh, how we are able to enjoy, experience, those different pieces. Um, so the relationships are very similar in that same issue when it comes to trying to have your significant other have a specific outcome that you might want. But the truth is,
Yeah.
when you let go of that control, you end up a lot of times getting something way better than you actually thought was possible.
Right. Every time.
And I
Right.
mean, it took
Every
me
time.
15 years of marriage to realize that. Just telling on myself a little bit, but I think the same can be said too about your faith. And
Yeah.
obviously, marriage and relationships are just a mirror reflection of what our
Right.
relationship with God can be. So if we're feeling like we're doing that in our marriages, or if we're doing that with our relationships, then obviously that could be something that we do in our relationship with God.
Yes. Yes. And I wish while you were talking, I was thinking there's a little prose that I read somewhere, and I put it in, I think, my last book, Finding Deep and Wide. I wish I can remember how exactly it reads, because it was my life in a little 4-line prose, but it was something like, it used to be none of Jesus and all of me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved to, you probably have heard this. Then I moved to, I want some of Jesus, but most of me. And then I wanted more of Jesus and less of me, until now I want all of Jesus and none of me.
Mm-hmm.
And none of that can be attributed to me. I told my Sunday school class the other day, I cannot take any credit for the difference between the Shellie that, was bored by the Bible and wanted Jesus on the side, and the Shellie that's in love with the Bible and can't get enough word and presence of Christ. I can take no credit for that. It is only the grace of Christ Jesus and a continuous intake of the pure milk,
Mm-hmm.
because we don't do it. But when we continuously intake the pure milk of the gospel, that builds us, transforms us, and changes us into where we're the most surprised, like, of everybody else. We know that our tastes are changing, and our what we desire is changing, and we can see that before anyone else. And I would also say, Caleb, we have to see it before
Mm-hmm.
anyone else. And that's the problem, I believe, with so much of our evangelizing and our witnessing in the church,
Mm-hmm.
is that we have not given ourselves over to Christ in a way that we see him in us, but
Yep.
then we want to witness and we want other people to see him in us.
That's right.
And until we see him in us, they're not going to. And is that making any sense?
Oh, it is. I mean, it's I can't remember what theologian said this, but it was like, if you want to change the world with the gospel of Christ, like, set a man on fire and everybody will come and watch him burn, kind of thing.
Oh, yes. I remember that quote. I can't remember who
I
attributed it
I
to
feel
him.
so bad. I'm like, I just quoted somebody. There's no attribution, but
Sorry, but I remember the quote
I
too.
know it wasn't from me.
I didn't say it either, but I think I've written it in one of the books, because that's it.
Mm-hmm.
When he sets us on fire, we lose that whole idea of that I was raised in. And I do not, I'm so grateful for my raising. And I always say anything that I picked up that was wonky's all me, not them.
Mm-hmm.
But we lose when we do that, when we let him set us on fire. We lose that I need to witness. I should witness. I'm supposed to be evangelizing. And all of that type of motivation is not there any longer. Instead, we become that well that he's just flowing out of, because we can't contain him.
That's right.
And so we get it backwards, and we think, oh, but the word says I need to evangelize. And so we, as the body of Christ, tend to sometimes push that, when we would fare much better in taking this message to the world if people were on fire and transformed themselves, so that they witnessed without even thinking about it.
That's right. I mean, and I feel like it's going from a place of should to a place of sharing, just
Uh,
because you can't help, like,
right.
it's
It's,
natural.
it's just like, I can, instead of I should, I can. And,
That's right.
you want to. Yeah.
I love this comment from Elizabeth. I'm gonna put it up on the screen. She says the
Okay.
title of Miss Shelley's book, which, by the way, that MRS, depending on where you live in the South, might be pronounced differently, but it's definitely Mrs.
Yeah. Yeah.
My
You
dad
go,
says
Caleb.
miseries or whatever. I don't know.
You've been
Who knows?
raised right, Caleb.
Mrs. is the correct thing for those
Yeah.
Southerners out there who are struggling. But it's seizing the good life. To me, that title alone reminds me that my relationship with Christ is alive and active, reminding me to actively be aware and be available to Christ.
That's it, Elizabeth. That's it, girl. I love that. That's a keeper quote right
And then
there.
this one, I think this is Michelle because it's the same hearts that are popping up. I don't see the attribution because I think you have to like accept permissions from Facebook, but I'm
Okay.
assuming this is Michelle. The
Okay.
intro was for me personally. I haven't read the rest because I haven't been able to get the digital stuff, but it comes out tomorrow, so like you can get the physical. If you like the smell of paper, it'll be ready, like it'll be at your door. But I agree that just the title alone, Christ active in our lives, is mentioned above, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
I
I like
love hearing that. And also about that, when your books do arrive, make sure you wait to post your review till your books arrive. I believe that the algorithm out there knows when the book has gotten there or not, and
uh
then I feel like if you post it too early and your copy hasn't arrived, I think it's like, I think they might
I
be spammy, you know.
I think so. I think
So
so. However, it all works, I've seen that where the algorithm will go, wait, too many people
that's
posted
right.
without, but they are. It's delivery dates. They
Yep.
can
So
see
just
the
wait till that book
algorithm.
comes in, and this is what I like to say. This is my favorite quote for launch teams of all time.
Okay.
When you read the Bible, you did not have to read it cover to cover before you told people about it or wrote a review on it.
Yes. Yes.
So
That's it. Caleb, we need to repeat that. And I need to add to it because, yes, Caleb is right. Like, people will be hesitant writing a review because they're like, I haven't finished the book yet. I'm like, but what is the book doing for you so far? Have you read, like
that's right.
Michelle? Thank you, Michelle, that she liked the intro and meant something to her and witnessed to her. That you can write a review on. You could
Yep.
say
That's it
something
right
as
there.
simple as, I was hooked from the introduction
In the title. Yeah.
and the title alone, and you've written a review. And I think sometimes because we don't tell people that, then they don't review the book because they think it needs to be a paragraph or 3 paragraphs, and it doesn't. It needs to be something as simple as that, right, Caleb?
That's exactly it. I mean, obviously don't be like, I wrote this review because Shellie and Caleb and Mackenzie and Unmutable told me
They
to.
told me to.
I mean, just write from your heart. And also, they don't have to be incredibly long. Like, just
No.
give somebody a value and connect with someone else and just tell people, hey, I like this. This helped me. If you're looking for this, then this could help you. Like, it's really that simple. That's a recipe that we believe in.
Yes.
And so I think it's really that easy. I
Oh,
love this question. I think this is probably a really good place for us to land
okay.
at the end of our time today. But what was your favorite story from John and why?
Ooh, my favorite story from John, hands down. No, okay, I just thought of 3 other I like. I was going to say hands down. I'm going to have to choose one. I like all 21 chapters, but I absolutely adore the story of Jesus at the feast of when it's the last day of the feast,
Yep.
and he stands up in the middle of the crowd and he proclaims himself to be the living water.
Mm,
Because I didn't know until I was doing research on that passage what had all happened leading up to that. I didn't know that the Jews, were for a week having a celebration that pointed to that day when God would pour out his living water on his people. And when I began to read all the background and the history, as the Bible teacher writing the book, but I had not read all of that. But as I researched that, and I saw it differently, because you talk about a mic drop moment.
oh
They've been
man.
looking forward to the living water that God's promised he was going to pour out on all the earth. And they're celebrating this, and they're just having this big old, I call it like Mardi Gras without the debauchery, because we get that. But they're having this big celebration, and then Jesus stands up in the middle of it, and he does the mic drop, and he
Yep.
says, I am the living water. And now you can see everybody, they know what he's saying he is. And it changed my whole perspective of that book. And I think I stayed there forever, and it makes me want to go read that chapter right now. I love that chapter. And then I love the Samaritan woman, and I love the Cana wedding, and yeah, a bunch
I,
of them.
I love it. Well, my favorite is the woman at the well. I feel like that
Oh,
is. And I
mm,
was a worship major in college, and
yeah,
so, like, basically anytime a pastor would ever get sick and I was the worship leader, I was always like,
yeah,
I could go to John 4. Like,
yeah. There you
we're
go.
gonna go to John 4. I
I
know
can
that one
talk
like the
about
back of
this.
my hand, and,
I
at
love
that
that.
story, it's still like just all the little things of, that are all the little details that are inside of it. And I think it like the living water, for example. And the other one's like the bread of life. If you go watch
Oh,
anything with Middle Eastern culture,
yeah,
bread, naan, that whole thing is
yeah,
like it's a thing. Like,
yeah,
and when they say it is a life thing, like they will not even cut bread. They
right.
revere it so highly. This was pre-pandemic COVID
Yeah,
bread thing that everybody went crazy on. I just like
yeah.
dove down into bread.
Uh,
And in that culture, bread is everything,
it is.
and that
It is.
they treat it sacredly. And
Oh,
so when he says, "I am the bread of life, I am the
yeah,
water, living water," when he said those things, it's so passive, like not it's so cliche
yeah.
for us
For
because
us.
it's
Yeah,
it would be like him saying, "I am TikTok, like I am your
yeah.
everything, like I
Right.
am your
Yes.
retirement, I am
Oh, that's
like
it.
your
Oh,
grandbabies, like the
now
joy that
we're
you
going
get."
back. Now you've totally gone back to the secular sacred thing you and I were talking about
Uh-huh.
earlier when you just said that. I am your everything. I am all that you're wanting. Let me be all of those things instead of that line between them. You
Mm.
just preached a whole sermon, Caleb. I'm going to have to watch this back just
I
to
mean,
hear.
John 4, man, I can go there. Let's go. But yeah, it's so true. And we're really thankful for all the stuff that you've done with the launch team, taking out time today and just your sweetness and that Louisiana. I'm never going to say Louisiana again. I'm just going to say Louisiana. Like
Louisiana. There you go,
I
Louisiana.
could do that. I
It's
love,
been so much fun talking to you. And I'm so glad that at least a couple of our other friends joined us, and maybe everybody else will watch it on replay and couldn't get here at noon. I know I've been getting text messages. I couldn't read them and chat with you with people saying I can't come right now.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so
And
maybe
I
that's
see some
over.
people that have been coming. If we're live right now, but as soon as the live is over, you should be able to go back and watch from the beginning.
Okay.
And Shellie, you've been so amazing, and happy launch week. Listen,
Oh,
every book that launches is just a special thing. Like
it
it's
is.
just so cool,
It
and
is.
like enjoy it. Enjoy this week. Like you can be marketing your book and still getting your nails done at the getting your toes done,
You are
whatever.
so sweet. I love that.
Like it's you
Thank
don't have
you.
to be like I can't market and do that at the same time.
Yeah. No, I just could do it all. Do it all. Thank
Well,
you.
do you have any like parting words to everybody on the team or anything that you'd like to just tell the launch team while we're all together?
Oh, I do. I want to tell everyone thank you. I've done these launch teams before, and this one has been like the other ones. There's a few people that are vocal. They're going to be on the Facebook page vocalizing their thoughts, and that means the world to me, and I appreciate that. But I just want everyone else to know that there's grace for everyone else that hasn't been able to do that the way they wanted to, and maybe they signed up for the launch team and they thought they'd share something every day. They were really going to help, and life got there and messed up their plans. But like, yes, we want you to share and we want you to help us and get the word out. But that's really what's on my heart right now. I appreciate everybody, and like my eyes are getting a little leaky here, can't see, but just thank you and grace for everybody, grace upon grace.
And Shelly, you are so right about all of that. I'll crack the whip. I'll tell you to go do all the things. No, I mean the truth is, at the end of the day, we all think of this perfect launch team member mentality, and there's no perfect launch team member exists except this one. Did you get the book?
Yeah,
Did you write a review? And did you tell a friend about it? Like
that's
it really is that simple. And people are like,
that.
"Well, yeah, did I do enough?" And I'm like, "That's literally
That's
the
what you
perfect launch team member." Like,
that's what you committed to doing, right?
yeah,
You
it's just
committed to
literally you
doing
bought
that.
the book, like you're gonna read it, you're gonna review it, and then you know what? Like you just said, you got text message from people. I mean, social media in the summertime can be hit or miss because people are at the beach or they're on travels or whatever. Just text a couple people. Man, this book is amazing. Like when
That's
you're
it.
out there, when you're reading, like please, please, please do not miss out on these awesome moments with Jesus. And if you've been struggling with your faith or you're feeling like your faith is stagnant or you've been in church for a
Yeah.
long time and you just need that rekindling. Like this is a great book for that. And so, um,
That's
you
a
know,
review. Can I say one other thing? One tiny
yeah,
thing about
absolutely.
review? I thought about this a while ago when we were talking about the algorithm knows if it has not been delivered, but once it's in your mailbox. But what we didn't say, which is so crucial, guys, if you would have that review ready, because
That's right.
life's going to get in the middle and get in the way. So don't wait for that review, like till the book's there. You've read some of it, you've read the introduction, whatever you've read, whatever has been resonating with you, would you please have your review ready? And that way, when it's delivered, you can post. And I
Yep.
don't know if, I mean, you and I know, but maybe we should tell those others that are listening what that does
Yeah,
for
sure.
the message, is because when you post those reviews, you tell them what
Yeah,
happens when
yeah.
you
So I'll
post
tell you
it.
a couple of things. So the first thing is Amazon doesn't open until tomorrow, right? Until the book actually is officially released. But Goodreads is up right now. So
Yeah,
you guys can actually go ahead and post those right now. And Amazon has already started to link up with Goodreads, which is very helpful. And
yeah.
sometimes Goodreads can be not so nice if people gets in there and gets nasty, whatever. So we want to make sure that we give the best reviews early for two reasons. One, for the Goodreads thing. The second thing is that there's algorithms on Amazon, and you do not get the frequently purchased with until you get 25 reviews.
That's it.
And once you cross that threshold, Amazon starts to promote it organically to other people. Maybe I bought this book, then you would like this book. And so the reviews matter. And then, as my wife always likes to say to me, she's a huge fiction, but this also applies to nonfiction too. Um, she says, I go to the reviews first. And I'm looking for people and what they're saying about the book. And if it seems like they're helpful and they're excited about it, and this book has been good for them, and this is what she said, Shellie, and this is really good. She said, I'm not going to waste my time investing myself in a message or into a book and a
Oh,
story that I could be reading something else for.
see, that's it. That way to go. That's
It's
beautiful.
really that honest. Like,
And
and
I think that people don't realize, and I know I've taken too much of your time and we need to be wrapping, Caleb, but I don't think I wanted to make that point, because sometimes when you ask for reviews, it sounds like you're just saying, I want there to be a bunch of stars by my
you
name.
tell me how good I am.
Yeah, that everybody sees my reviews and goes, oh, she's got this many reviews. And so that's the reason I want to make this point, because they may not know that you're actually helping the message, because you're going to help Amazon go, oh, okay, I should show this to someone else,
That's right.
all by your review.
Yeah. I mean, you're literally sharing the gospel by writing a good review.
That's it.
Now I'm
That's
gonna show
it.
you I'm gonna show you my sweatshirt. You ready for this? I got this
I
from
was wanting to know a while ago what was on the bottom.
yeah,
I couldn't
yeah.
say.
So my
Okay.
sweatshirt, I got this from one of my buddies and clients, John Acuff, and he talks about goals and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
He's written nine books, and so I put this on a T-shirt, and it's "Some beats none." Okay, some beats none. Like your review, some beats none. Like so, no review doesn't help accomplish what we're trying to do. Some beats none. So
I'm gonna make me a shirt like that. Some beats none, or maybe you need to trademark that. That is brilliant.
yeah,
Some beats
just
none.
yeah, John Acuff. You could tag him on that one, but
Okay.
yeah. So the sun beats. I love it because honestly, for me, sometimes I can't get enough time to pray, or I can't get enough time to
But
to read
songs.
scripture, or I don't have enough time to go to the gym, or like I don't have enough time with my kids. I don't have enough time to practice music or
Yeah,
whatever. Some beats none. Like
that is so good. I have that like
she's
locked
like, man, I
down.
got that. That's burning in my soul now.
I've got that locked down. I'm going to be living by that. I love that. And if you get a chance to tell John Acuff, there's a woman in Louisiana that's read all of his stuff and loves it. Just do that too.
I
But
will.
yes,
I will. He's gonna be like, dude. I told him I was like, we got to make these. You're not gonna make. He doesn't want to do merchandise and all that stuff. And I was like,
yeah,
I told my wife, I said, I need some beats none in a sweatshirt so I can go to the gym and have some beats none on it.
that's it. That is so good.
Anyway, that's amazing. Well, you guys, thank you so much for your time in this replay. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this time with Shellie. Shellie, you are amazing. Thank you so much for your kindness. It's great to meet you in front of other people and
Yeah,
do it in real time.
I have thoroughly enjoyed meeting you. Since I won't say names, I won't be throwing anybody else under the bus. But I've done these things with some people that can be
Sure.
difficult, But gosh, Caleb, you're anything but. You have been so much fun. So thank you for the way you've led this conversation.
Well, we've got a great team too behind the scenes.
Yes,
Mackenzie, who's out of town this week, she's
she rocks.
amazing. She's been helping communicate with all of you people and Unmutable and the team and all
Yeah.
of that. And so, Shellie, we really just we appreciate the word that you've shared. And I promise you, like from the bottom of my heart, I will not ever forget. Like I know you're talking about some beats none, but for
Yeah.
me, I will not forget that whole integrated faith and tearing down that wall. And I feel like
Yay.
that's just such a really great reminder. Just you
Yeah.
don't have to, it's not an all or nothing thing. Like you
Yeah.
can have both at the same time
Yeah.
and you can still experience the goodness that God
Amen.
has right in front of you. So
Amen. All right. Thank you. Hey,
absolutely.
Caleb, let's do it like a screenshot so that I
Yeah.
can put it on. I'm going to stop talking and you can screenshot.
Yeah, I'll screenshot it. You just got to smile for me. All right, here we go. Ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Are we done?
I think we did it. I think we got it.
Yay. Okay. God bless you. And thank you so much for your time. And for Michelle and Elizabeth that were here live, and anyone else that was here live, and those who will see it afterwards. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you. I'm gonna make sure that screenshot happened because that's the worst thing that would happen. Let's see.
Yeah.
It happened. We got it. We did it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. See you
Awesome.
later.
See you guys.
All right. Bye bye.